Hey folks, in this particular video, I want to share with you the first niche site that I ever created, and overall this niche site was a complete disaster, so definitely don't look at this video and say, okay, this is what I need to be doing. Instead, look at this video and avoid what I did wrong, because that's basically why I'm sharing this with you, is basically instead of making the mistakes that I made with my niche site, make the better decisions from the very beginning and save yourself months of going nowhere, because that's what almost everyone does when they start out building niche sites, is they make a bunch of common mistakes that would have been easily avoided if someone would have just shown them what, like, the common mistakes that you want to avoid. So my site, co2paintballguru.com, still exists today because it generates about $30-40 per month, up until about a week ago, and I'm going to get onto that later. It actually makes a bit more now. But overall, for the amount of effort I put into this site, not worth it. And the biggest mistake with this site is it was the wrong niche. I keep on trying to hammer home with my subscribers that the niche is the most important thing that you'll choose, because it really is. If you pick a bad niche, like the paintball niche, as it turns out, then basically the amount of traffic you get, you're going to get pennies on the dollar compared to a starving crowd where niches with people that are desperate to spend money. What I found with the paintball niche is people weren't willing to shop online as much. They have their local shops that they go to, and they buy a paintball gun once every couple years, but other than that they're good. They don't really, I mean, I do make the occasional sale through Amazon, um, but compared to the amount of traffic numbers it gets, it doesn't make as much money as it should. So my mistake was the niche, the paintball niche, and I'll show you why I should have known that this niche was a mistake. Okay, so if you go to Google right now and you go to the Google AdWords keyword tool, so yeah, that's it right there. If you follow me in this, I'll give you a little bit of a second. So you've probably used this before, and in fact, if you've done my keyword research in the past, then you have used this before. It's an absolutely brilliant tool. So what you want to do is you want to pick the main root keyword of the niche that you're considering. So when I was starting out, I would have been considering paintball, and I decided to go ahead because I didn't know that otherwise. But I'm going to show you why that was a poor decision, and then we're going to try and look at a different niche that will have a good results here. Oh my goodness, these captures are impossible. HEC. Oh man, I always get these wrong. All right, so paintball. So if I put this in here, I'm going to sign in quickly. Alright, I'm back, guys. So basically I just signed into my Google AdWords account, and that's not my actual email. Just so you know, I never checked this one. My actual email is brendanmace@live.com, so if you have a question, you can contact me there instead. So loaded in paintball, the first niche that I ever chose, and I always think it's a good idea, not that it doesn't really matter that much in this video, but I always by habit switch to exact, because broad is a big mistake that a lot of people make in the beginning. You want the exact search results to get the best idea. So here, what you can see with paintball that should be jumping out at you is the approximate cost per click. If you look at a lot of these keywords, first of all, I'm never going to rank for the big keywords. Like, I'm never going to rank for paintball or paintball guns as a general. And so those ones I can kind of discontinue. What I want to look at is ones that, a little bit like sub-niche keywords that I could have a chance of ranking for, like cheap paintball guns or paintball markers. But the thing I don't like about this niche that you can see right away is that the cost per click is very low. I'd say the average cost per click on here is about 50 cents, and really like a third of that cost per click goes straight to Google. So the amount of money I make per click when I did AdSense with my paintball niche site was about a quarter or 20 cents per click. And to top it off, the amount of clicks was lower, as I found out, than an average niche. So my click through rate was low, and the amount of money I made per click was very low as well, which was what caused me to switch over to Amazon. But that's beside the point. Basically, as you can see, this isn't a profitable niche at all. It's really not a desperate crowd. People aren't extremely willing to get out their credit cards and buy. So instead, if I switch to a profitable niche, like make money online, we all know that this is a profitable niche. Some people would criticize me for saying that and say, Brendan, that's not a niche, that's a market. But this is just for demonstration purposes as an example of a niche that's profitable. And as you can see, the cost per clicks are all around, usually around over $2, but sometimes $1.99 or around that range. But they're usually about around the $2 mark, which means that the amount of money you're making per click is 10 times as much, right? Like if a cost per click is $2.49, then for one click you're making 10 times as much as a click on a paintball niche, which is a bad niche. So you want to pick a niche that gets a good amount of money per click, because it'll make you far more money. But obviously, we don't want to pick the make money online niche because it's too competitive. So that's the difficult task that you have when you're selecting niches at the beginning, is that you don't want to pick something that doesn't get any money thrown its way, but at the same time you don't want to pick something that's too competitive. So you need to find something that you can get traffic for, that's uncompetitive, that also has people spending money. That's a very difficult task, which is why I recommend to all subscribers that if you want a shortcut, the best shortcut that I know of is to subscribe to Travis Sago's subscription service, which is basically where he sends you niches to your email daily that satisfy that requirement perfectly. So the idea is that they have low competition in Google, but then at the same time they get a good amount of money per click. So really, if you're going to make niche sites, that is a very, very wise investment. But you know what? If you just want one, then you can do this manually and definitely find a good niche keyword. And the example that I always bring up in my videos is the dentistry niche. So let's say teeth whitening, for example. Teeth whitening, I would say moderate competition level, not completely competitive, not super uncompetitive. But look here, please don't steal my niche. It's actually it has very high cost per clicks, as you can see. It is a little bit tougher. I don't recommend it for newbies, but this be an example of a niche where you make a bunch of money per click, and you can potentially get traffic for it. It's a little bit more difficult than the beginner level, but definitely doable. So yeah, that's an example of a niche that would be better than paintball. So this niche was a bad decision, and I spent a ton of. I actually wrote all these articles myself. This was before I was making a good amount of money online, so I didn't outsource anything yet, and it took me like literally months to develop the content for this site, and it makes so little money that it's just ridiculous. But here, I'll quickly go over the mistakes that I made in the control panel here. So if you look at the posts, so I kind of came to my senses at the end, and I actually purchased some articles, and they were review articles for paintball guns. That's where I make a good portion of my money, is people coming from traffic from the search engines to look for various paintball guns through reviews, and then they buy on Amazon. That's basically the majority of my money from the site. But the mistake I was making at the beginning was I was making very, very, very informational keywords, which are okay with AdSense, but if AdSense isn't converting, then they're basically useless because I was creating these articles, and I wrote this myself, that's why it looks so ugly. But I wrote these articles where I'm just giving general information on the topic, and it's like, great, okay, so maybe I'll get traffic for it, but what's the traffic gonna do? What's the point of the traffic? And that's what's something you've always got to be thinking about when you build your niche sites is, okay, I can get visitors, but what do I want my visitors to do? And then you want to get your visitors to do that. So there's a difference between buyer keywords and informational keywords. And information keywords are okay if you got AdSense because you just need people to click. But if you want to get somebody to buy something, information keywords don't do diddly squat. The amount of conversions you get through them is very, very, very low. And the amount of money you make from reviews and buyer keywords is 10 times higher. Your conversions are going to be way, way higher when you do buyer type keywords. And even for AdSense, this is true as well. So what I recommend when you make these niche sites, especially if it's something that has product reviews, is that you want to get the name of the product and then the word review, because the idea is to do reviews of products where there isn't a ton of reviews out there for it already, but it gets a significant amount of traffic, because if you write a good review, basically what you're going to have happen, just one second, I'm going to pause the video here and I'll be right back. So basically, the majority of my income comes from a very small number of pages that I created. The majority of my income comes from my product reviews, and I have about 10 to 15 of them, but on the site I have 120 posts. So we're talking about 10 or 15 posts generating about 95% of the income. So if I was to do this over again, you would realize if you're starting with niche sites right now, don't waste your time on general keywords, because the amount of money you make for them is pennies, peanuts compared to what you'd make off of buyer keywords. So that's basically, I would say, the most important tip that you can take out of this video is use buyer keywords, not general keywords like how to impress a paintball sponsor. That's not going to make any sales. Whereas a keyword on a review of a certain paintball gun, like for example the Dangerous Power G4 paintball marker review, is going to get visitors that are looking for a review and advice on a particular product. And that's exactly what you want. So the last thing I want to say, I know I said at the start of the video that this site was making about 30 or 40 bucks per month. So I didn't want to just scrap it, because what's the point? I mean, hosting is $10 per year. So as long as you can make that back, why would you choose to get rid of the site? It doesn't make any sense. So I did hold on to it, but the site makes about between $70 and $90 per month now, so almost a 100% increase in the amount of conversions. And the only change that I made that impacted these results was the Amazon autocomplete plugin. And I've told you guys about this before. You know what? This isn't definitely not mandatory, and certainly if you're not going to do Amazon sites, then you don't need it at all. It's completely unnecessary. But if you do have Amazon sites, then the amount of conversions that you make through your site can double, triple, and there's certain instances on sites where I never made any sales, where I made a ton more, and it was all because of this. And the reason why this is cool is because if you reload the page here, you'll see that it dynamically types, and it's the only thing moving on the entire page. So from this perspective of a visitor, it's very hard to miss this. It draws your eyes in with the flashing display. So once I see this, the other cool thing about this, and you can customize what it says here, but the begin typing to search, very unaggressive, which is perfect. Because I think what a lot of people mistake when they make niche sites is they try and sell to make a profit. And that is a mistake. The much more higher converting way of going about selling is by not selling. And what do I mean by that? Basically, I mean don't make it look like you're selling to your visitors. Instead, make it look like you're helping them get what they need. And that certainly could be the case. But basically, unaggressive is better for sales. And that's what I found with all the testing that I've done. So if you say, click here to see what others are saying instead of, hey, click here to spend money, you're going to get a lot more people more receptive to a less aggressive statement. Or click here to see more reviews or something like that, or begin typing to search. But the cool thing is, say I'm just on a generic page on this site and I want to look for this Dangerous Power G4 paintball marker on Amazon, or I want to be able to find it to see whether I want to buy it or not. With this Amazon autocomplete search bar, if I start typing, as you can see, what it does is it auto-completes. And I'll show another example here. I know there's a brand of paintball gun called the Azadin Blitz. So as I start typing here, it does what Google and Bing and even Amazon themselves do for visitors, which is it auto-completes the form for you so you can see below your options as you're typing it out. I've only done 3 letters here and it's already saying, do you mean this? So visitors are conditioned to be receptive to autocomplete forms right now because all the big websites are doing it. So my result that I'm looking for if I'm a visitor is Azadin Blitz. I click here and voila, you see it takes me over to Amazon. And this is awesome because as we all know, Amazon is a conversion machine. It does wonders for your conversion rates. And one of my nugget pieces of advice would be make your main incentive with Amazon sites is just get people to Amazon. I think the reason why I say that is because people are looking for social proof or a reason to buy their product that they're looking for. And yes, your review can provide that for them, but I think even more significant for what they're looking for is the customer reviews. And Amazon has customer reviews for you. So you come here and people know, like with product reviews on a website, they could be biased, they could be doing it for the affiliate commission. And honestly, when I do reviews, I'm hoping that partially the review is a benefit to the visitor, but it's also because it's a benefit to me with the affiliate commission. Whereas with these customer reviews, it's not benefiting these guys. They're just speaking on their experience, and they don't get any compensation or commission for posting these reviews. So they're completely impartial, and for that reason, customers tend to trust them a lot more. Which is why a large portion of the reason why Amazon does so well in converting. So if I come here and I'm looking for the Azadin Blitz paintball gun, and I come here and I see the reviews and I see that the average rating is 4.7 out of 5, I'm thinking, hey, this is precisely what I was looking for, and the social proof is validating that this would be a good buying decision. Therefore, I feel a lot more comfortable with my decision to hit the add to cart button and get out my credit card information. So basically, what I'm trying to say is I've not seen a tool for a WordPress plugin or otherwise that's Amazon related that has had as significant a conversion boost as this. I've never seen a plugin that's as dramatically increased my earnings. And in fact, I've gotten rid of all my other Amazon plugins completely, and that's why I don't even promote them anymore because I don't use them because I replaced everything with just this Amazon autocomplete plugin, and it does the majority of the magic for me. So honest, if you're doing Amazon sites, highly recommended. If not, don't worry about it. You can find ways to monetize otherwise. But the main 2 points that I want to make out of this entire video that I want to wrap up with is, first of all, make sure you do due diligence on your niche and check whether it's a profitable niche, because the paintball niche was terrible and I didn't realize that until I'd been months into the process. So I could have had a significant shortcut had I checked. And the second main point is that you want to pick buying keywords, not general information keywords, because buying keywords convert way better. But that is the end of the video, guys. I hope you picked up some tips along the way from the first niche site that I ever created. It's a little bit of a nostalgic feeling for me. I still like the website. And you know what? 60, $70 isn't much, but it's something. And I'm still glad I built it. So the important thing for you is that you take action, and you actually do an even better job than me because you know what to avoid. So yeah, I will be talking to you guys soon. I guess that's it. I'll talk to you later.